Welcome to the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets Farm to School and Early Childhood Grant Program webinar. My name is Trevor Lowell. I'm the program manager for this and other farm to school and early childhood grants at the Agency of Ag. A few quick logistics before we get started. We're going to keep everyone muted for the first part of the presentation until we get to the Q&A section at the end. And if you're joining on your computer, there's a chat function available where you can put any questions or comments you may have. Feel free to drop things into the chat at any point in the presentation. My colleague Mary will be monitoring the chat conversation to make sure we address any questions that come up during the Q&A. And we are going to be recording this presentation and posting it to the program webpage after we're done. All right, so our goal today is to provide an overview of the Farm to School and Early Childhood Grant Program, to communicate the flexibility of the grant and how it can be utilized, to provide a platform for addressing any questions, and share inspiring stories from past grantees. But first, we wanted to recognize all the educators, administrators, food service professionals, and others who've been working tirelessly to keep Vermont children safe and their bellies full throughout this pandemic. We see you and appreciate you so much. I want to start with a quick history of the Farm to School and Early Childhood Grant Program. A few people waiting in the lobby, so we're just going to let them in. So in 2006, the state legislature passed the Roseau-McLaughlin Farm to School Act, which allocates money each year from the state's general fund to support farm to school and early childhood efforts throughout the state. Very few states have made this kind of commitment to supporting farm to school and early childhood, and this is a big reason why Vermont is a national leader in farm to school. In addition to this grant, the annual allocation also supports a CSA grant and the Farm to School Vision Grant. If you'd like more information about those programs, we can drop a link to those in the chat, or you can visit the agency's website for more information. In 2017, the legislature amended the Farm to School Act to include early childhood providers, and there is a lot of great work happening right now to expand on the state's farm to early childhood efforts. The data you see on the right-hand side of the slide is the cumulative impact of the Farm to School and Early Childhood Grants Program since it started in 2007. So you can see we've awarded nearly $1.5 million to schools and child care providers throughout the state, and that's impacted over 50,000 kids. So what is Farm to School and Farm to Early Childhood? These are really broad terms. Generally, they include any number of activities and initiatives designed to create connections between how we grow, consume, and interact with our food and the people that produce it. Farm to school and farm to early childhood can mean different things for different organizations, and that's a good thing. This grant is meant to help grantees build programs that meet their needs and interests and reflect their unique values. To me, farm to school and early childhood is like a Swiss Army knife. It's a tool with many uses that can be applied in different ways to solve lots of different problems. So while emphasizing the flexibility of this grant, we did want to also provide some general goals that this grant is designed to help with. You'll see these here on the slide. So in order to help achieve these goals, each grantee will receive a financial award, support from a group of farm to school and early childhood subject matter experts, what we refer to as technical assistants, and a grant coach. An important aspect of this grant is that grantees are expected to form a project team. Project teams are made up of people from throughout the organization and/or community that agree to work together and carry out the grant activities. Strong project teams have representation from different stakeholders throughout the school or child care organization and may include community members, parents, and students. A few important pieces about the financial award. The standard award is $10,000. If you are submitting a joint application with other schools or child care providers, there is an option to request up to $15,000. Funding is dispersed in 3 payments that are all tied to specific deliverables. So the first is you sign your grant agreement and submit the required grant documents, and then you're eligible to claim $5,000 of your award. The second is you send in your interim report and have it approved, and you're eligible to claim $3,000 of your award. And the final is submission of your final report and approval, and then you can have your claim. You can submit your claim for the remaining $2,000 of your award. Because funding is deliverables based, there is no need to submit invoices or receipts for reimbursement. Grantees are free to use their grant funds in any way they see fit, so long as they can justify those expenditures, help support their farm to school or farm to early childhood programs. And we encourage grantees to be creative and not spend all of their grant funds on one item or supply. So some examples include investing in staff development opportunities, purchasing local food, purchasing garden supplies, investing in personnel, or providing stipends for farmers. Each grantee also receives a suite of professional support from farm to school and early childhood subject matter experts. This support is free to the grantee and can be customized to meet the interest and schedule of the grantee project team. Support is provided in 4 primary categories: curriculum, procurement, meal programs, and school gardens. And we've put a couple examples of different subjects within those categories up on the slide here, things that past grantees have been interested in receiving support on. Grantees will work with the technical assistance providers to communicate their specific interest within each category. And technical assistance will be delivered through workshops or trainings that will be open to anyone within your organization. And the third component of this grant is that each grantee receives a coach who works with them and their project team throughout the grant. Coaches are meant to support your team and organization in making the most of the grant opportunity. They are thought partners, connectors, and overall mentors for you and your team. The expectations for grantees are pretty straightforward for this program. There are the deliverables talked about earlier, including an interim report and a final report. We expect that each grantee utilize the technical assistance and work closely with their coach throughout the grant period. We also expect that project teams meet regularly and work collaboratively on grant activities. And finally, we hope that grantees share their stories. Talking about your farm to school or farm to early childhood effort has lots of benefits, and we can often help amplify your stories through our agency communication channels.